D Square here. Today I'm going to do a review of Uncanny X-Men number 11. Full disclosure, this is a variant cover because the great owner of Comics R Go in Sheffield Lake, Ohio does a great job of always trying to hook me up with variant covers, and so he followed suit here. I think it's a really cool cover. First we'll go over a spoiler-free review for those people that don't want to know all about the comic. Instead, they just want to know if it's worth buying. So let me go ahead and start there. Absolutely buy this. Absolutely. Spoiler alert for X-Men Annual number 1. That was all about the resurrection of Cyclops and him realizing that the current state of the X-Men, which is of course most of them being gone, it's his fault and he's going to make it right. He's going to find the X-Men and he's going to make everything right. Well, this is the continuation of his adventure. It has a really, really cool moment because Cyclops, as well as another important, recently revived, major popular X-Man, they join forces and they are going to continue on this quest of finding the X-Men, finding out what's going on, and making everything right. So it was a really, really cool moment. Some of it is a little bit confusing. Cyclops meets a mutant that I'm really not that familiar with, but she doesn't have a code name or anything, but she's got some like all-seeing powers. She can see every timeline, past, present, and future. So there is some confusing parts of this comics because there seems to be a weird time thing going on. So just, full disclosure, you may have to read it a couple of times in order to fully understand that. I don't even fully understand it yet. But I get the gist of what's going on. So absolutely you should pick this up. This comic does a great job of setting the linchpin for what is going to be the X-Men universe from now on. It's almost like they're starting fresh because, again, spoiler alerts here for the first 10 issues of this series, Uncanny X-Men number 1 through 10, X-Men Disassembled, dealing with the X-Man, and of course at the end of it, almost all of the X-Men, poof, up and gone, and are now in the Age of the X-Men storyline. So this is an awesome start. I think it starts the evolution of what the X-Men stories will become. It even claims to be the last X-Men story. I'm sure it's not going to be the last, but it references every X-Men story being the same, and this one is going to be different. So absolutely pick this one up. Okay, so now we're going to get into a little bit of a spoiler stuff. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, spoiler time. As I said, this was awesome. This issue, of course, starts off right where Uncanny X-Men Annual number 1 left off, where basically Cyclops is dealing with the fact that he's just been resurrected, the X-Men are basically no more, and he's doing everything he can to find out what X-Men are still out there, who can I find. He does find some. He finds, like I mentioned earlier in the non-spoiler, he finds a mutant that he seems to know. I'm not familiar with the character, and I'm pretty familiar with the X-Men. So I myself am going to have to do a little bit more research, but there's this mutant that can see every timeline, that can see what's going on, and you basically can kind of, a time travel thing going on here. Kind of starts at, kind of as a Pulp Fiction thing, kind of the end, and then it goes to the beginning. So kind of confusing there. He does meet up with Jamie Madrox, so Jamie Madrox is still alive. He was a very big part of the X-Men Disassembled storyline, and we see that he is still alive, doesn't want very much to do what's going on with Scott. Now, what was that cool moment I talked about? Well, the recently resurrected popular X-Man that is the other focal point of this comic is, of course, Wolverine. They have an awesome moment in this comic. At one point, Scott Summers announces to the world on live TV, hey, any X-Men out there, come to where it all began. You know where that is. Obviously, he refers to the Xavier Institute, which he goes to. He is ambushed by the Reavers. He's fighting the Reavers. And who comes to his aid? None other than Wolverine. It is a cool moment. It really, really is. They fight, they win together, and at the end of it, they just acknowledge it's time to set things right. And they don't even mince much words. They really don't. Like, they have this huge fight. Let me just kind of show you a little bit of it there. Sorry, lighting's not the best. So let me step back into a little better lighting. So they have this huge fight with the Reavers. And then at the end of it, Scott Summers just says, Logan. Wolverine replies, Slim. And then Wolverine states, now that we're all caught up, let's go. We got work to do. And that's the end of the first issue. This issue it's kind of two issues into one. It's got the first issue where we deal with the return of Scott Summers. He gets into the fight with the Reavers, and then Wolverine comes to save him. Then there's another issue where it explains how Wolverine was kind of scouting out what was going on with Scott. He was kind of watching him. He didn't want to get involved. He didn't want to get involved in any Summers crap. But Cable does convince him, hey, I have to go. I can't stay here in this timeline. I have to go do some other stuff. I really need you to help Scott Summers here. I really need you to look after him. So when I say that the linchpin of what this X-Men universe is going to be from here on out, that's what I'm talking about. And to me, it couldn't be any more perfect. It's just so awesome that we have Cyclops and Wolverine, two very popular X-Men, two long-standing pillars of the X-Men, recently resurrected. They've always been teammates, but they've not always been friends. They don't always get along. But here in this issue, they come together and they realize, we have to set this right. We have work to do. And I couldn't think of two better characters to do this with. I mean, it's just a great choice of writing here, bringing these two almost adversaries together, because remember Schism, that was never exactly resolved, but apparently, with only a few words, the Schism is now over. It is done. Wolverine and Cyclops are working together once again, and I couldn't be more excited. So, pick this issue up if you haven't already. I know it may not be available. The more variant covers should come out soon. But definitely pick this one up. I'm excited for this series. I can't wait to see how this unfolds. I can't wait to see how Cyclops and Wolverine go about finding or reconstructing the X-Men and setting everything right. Now, we don't know exactly what that means, but again, I'm very, very excited. Now, of course, there is another X-Men series, the Age of X-Men series that is going on. So all the X-Men that are missing are in that series. They're in some sort of goofy alternate timeline where things seem perfect, but they're not quite. I have no clue how that's going to get resolved. But again, X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, number 11, Scott Summers, Wolverine, gonna set it right. I can't wait to see how this all unfolds. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I hope to see you here on my channel again. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed my content. If you share it on social media, that is a huge help. And I'm always looking to interact with people. So please leave me a comment. Let me know if you'd like to see something. I do video game playthroughs. I do reviews like I did today. And I do also do breakdowns. But it's something I've explained in other videos. I don't want to fully divulge all the content because I do want to encourage people to buy these comics and experience them there for yourselves. I recommend going to your local comic book shop. They'll always steer you right. Or for those that don't want to go to the comic book shop, don't want to have a whole lot of comic books in your house, Comixology is another great place. So I hope that you join me in this adventure in reading these Uncanny X-Men books, and I hope to see you here next time we review. I am looking to review Uncanny X-Men number 12 for you guys. Again, thank you so much. Have a great day.